Okay, you're live.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Three Guys Who Love Sports. We're here at the Red Hair Brewery. I'm joined today by Russ, the Legend Phillips, and Keith Arroyo. We're happy to be here at Red Hair Brewery, as I said. And today we are the Three Guys Who Love Sports. This show was created for a friend of ours that has prostate cancer, and one of the ways we take his mind off of his problems is talk about sports. So not only him, but we hope there's some other guys out there that this will help ease their burden and take a little bit off their minds. So that's the purpose of this show today. Keith, Russ, welcome to Three Guys Who Love Sports, and we want to hear from you too. You can reach us at 470-7sports or 470-777-6787. That's 470-777-6787. A lot of great things going on in sports this week. Baseball's back, Brady's back, but you know, the number one thing on the list today is college basketball. It is time for March Madness, and we're going to talk a little March Madness today. So, if you want to win a $25 gift card to Red Hair, the restaurant on the square, or the brewery here out on Delk Industrial Boulevard, text in who you think is going to win to 470-777-6787. That being said, let's get into it. It's basketball time. Keith?
Yep.
What are we doing? Who's going to win?
I think it might be Gonzaga's year, finally.
You think so?
I've been rooting for him for a few years. I think they might finally get over the hump.
Keith? Is Gonzaga? Russ? How about you?
I'm going to agree with him. It's about time for Gonzaga. I mean, they've always had the best team, and it just seems like I don't know if they fall apart, get the big hit. I haven't figured it out yet, but, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to root for Gonzaga, even though my Tennessee faithful might think they could possibly pull a rabbit out of the hat, but ball fans, not happening.
Well, I think it's a very different year for college basketball, all in general. I think normally there's one or two very strong teams, and there'll be a lot of upsets, but can you really call any game this year an upset? Because there's really parity. There's 15 to 20 teams that can win this thing, don't you think?
That's what I think, but unfortunately ESPN thinks there's only 7 or 8 teams that can win it, but I don't know if I agree with them.
What do they know?
Yeah, exactly. They half the time they get it wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So
I really think we need to dig into these brackets and see who we think are going to win. Let's start. I'll give you my final two. I think Kansas is going to win, but I'll give you the reasoning as we go through that show. So we got 2 Gonzagas and a Kansas. So not going to be a lot of fighting today about the championship game, but there may be a lot of consternation or discussion about the earlier game. I know Michael will be sitting in with us from Red Hair Brewery. Michael's a Kentucky grad and a huge Kentucky fan. So that's what I'm guessing he's going to pick, but we'll find out in about 15 minutes. And Greg Potts will be taking Steve's place today. He'll be calling in with Potts points at 5:45. And Greg, he's a UK fan as well, so we'll probably get 2 UK votes. Games start tomorrow at noon. We've always looking at the 15-2 seeds or the big upsets. Who is the big upset this year in the 2 of the 15 seeds?
I don't know if there's going to be a 15 seed going to win. I don't see it happening this year.
Russ, what do you think about the 15 seed?
I really don't have. I really don't. I don't see it happening. I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen, but I just don't see it. I really don't. I agree. I don't see it happening at all.
And Keith's got some numbers. Keith, how many 15-2 seeds have lost before?
15 seeds have lost about 8 or 9 times.
8 or 9 times. Okay. And 16's only once. We definitely don't see a 16 losing. Georgia State's not going to beat Gonzaga, right?
No, Gonzaga does not go out early.
Yeah.
They go out, but they usually go out late if they go out at all. Hopefully they don't go out at all.
Norfolk State's not going to beat Baylor.
Not in my lifetime.
Yeah. Is it Weber State?
I think that's the playing game today.
Oh.
I think that's the playing game. Bryant's playing today.
Oh,
with Wright State. With Wright State.
Wright State, that's right.
I think Bryant's going to knock them off, but they're not going to knock off Arizona.
Nobody's going to knock off Arizona. And who's it? San Diego State? No. Texas Southern's not going to beat Kansas. So we don't see the 16s beating any ones.
I'd like to see Duke lose as a 2 seed, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think, I think Duke is one of the 15 teams that can win this year, basically because this is Coach K's last year. There's going to be a lot. Well, go ahead. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing. They couldn't even win at home against North Carolina, who's unranked.
Or his
They were
last
4
game.
seed.
Matter of fact, Chuck, just to let everybody know, Duke is going to lose to Davidson. And I have two, my wife's cousins both graduated, her husband and she graduated from Davidson. So they're going to like me today. Davidson will upset Coach K, and we will send him packing with a tap on the rear end saying, have a good retirement.
You will get my first phone call when Duke beats Davidson. Because that ain't happening. I would like to see, I think I got Davidson winning one game.
You gotta win Michigan State. They could go down to Michigan State though too.
Yeah, I got to beat Michigan State. Well, who's the strongest conference? You know, I watched a lot of basketball this weekend. SEC's got, I don't remember who's got the most teams in the conference.
Big Ten.
Big Ten?
Big Ten.
Yeah, the Big Ten.
But
they got some good ball teams in the Big Ten.
But the Big Ten doesn't win championships.
Exactly.
They just don't
Who's the
win
last time
championships.
they did? Michigan State?
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
That was Magic Johnson, right?
No, it was after that. It was with I can't.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
I know the guy.
Yeah.
We knocked him out a couple of years. UConn did.
But Izzo's been the guy there forever. You know what he looks like? Mark Morgan. He looks just like Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan State, they go far, they go out early. One or the other. They don't usually. We'll see. I mean, Michigan State's pretty solid, but I don't know. I think the best is usually ACC is usually a great conference. They're very down this year. I think the Big 12 might be one of the better conferences. You got Kansas, you got Baylor,
Texas Tech.
You got Baylor, Texas Tech.
Texas is in the tournament too,
Texas,
right?
Texas never does anything.
Yeah, I got them winning the game. I think they're going to beat
yeah.
Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech's 11th seed.
That's a tough game.
But like
That's
you
a
said,
tough
ACC
game.
is very, very down this
I
year.
mean, Chuck, have you been drinking something?
Yeah,
They're not
well.
going to beat, Texas ain't going to beat Virginia Tech. Are you?
They could, but I think Virginia Tech's going to win a few.
I think they got a better chance of beating them than Davidson does of beating them.
I'm going to disagree. They're going to beat Duke. It's going to shock the world. What didn't Muhammad Ali say that? It's going to shock the world. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
I don't know if any of this shocks anybody anymore.
Well, it really don't. I mean, that's the thing about college basketball is it's one game. It's not, you don't have to play a season. It's one game, and if you don't come to play that one game, you're out. And there's no whining and crying and all this kind of stuff, and we should have, we're going to get, no. It's one game, you lose, you're out. So that's why really at this point in time, I like college basketball, because you never know who's going to win, who's going to show up, who's not going to show up.
And again, I think it's a lot more parity this year in the sport than
I
we've
agree.
ever seen.
Yep.
I mean, except in the years when UCLA was running that, we were back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. Is that when that was, Steve? Yeah.
70s.
Yeah, so John Wooden was the man, and UCLA was the team then. What games, did you watch any games this weekend that really were fun to watch?
I did watch a few. I had some things going on, but yeah, I mean, I watched some of the Big East tournament, obviously, because I'm a Husky fan. Unfortunately, we lost to Villanova, which I don't mind losing until.
That was Friday night when we were playing. Right?
Yeah, I don't mind them losing at that point. You know, to me, you want to win on the dance. You don't care if you lose the conference tournaments. But there was the one magical year we had with Kemba where they won 6 games in 6 days.
Kemba Walker. And
they won the NCAA tournament as a 7th seed, the lowest seed to ever win the national championship. That was a nice run they had. I didn't even root for them. I didn't even pick them that year. They were such a far out seed.
All right, great.
I don't know though. The Big East, way back in the day, when you had Syracuse and Georgetown. I mean, you talking about some good basketball, and it's funny. I don't like to promote anything, but Netflix, I think it's Netflix, it's called The Requiem of the Big East, and it was fantastic with just, I mean, not just the teams, but the coaches. that coached in the Big East. Well, I mean, it was great basketball.
Well, they had Jim Calhoun, they had
Raleigh
Massimino
Massimino.
at Villanova, they had
And,
John Thompson at Georgetown, Boeheim at Syracuse, back when they
And then
they used to be
St.
big,
John's
right?
coach.
John's was
Chris
Chris
Smith.
Sweater.
Yeah, I know. I can see who coached. I can't think
Carter
of
Sackett,
Luke
yeah.
Carter.
Yeah, I mean, great man, just coaches galore.
I always thought Syracuse underperformed, though. I mean, they had so many great players, but one national championship. And the year they won it, UConn beat them 3 times that season. So
And
they-
Syracuse still won the national championship?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was with Carmelo. Carmelo had a good run.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, UConn had a good run. You were telling us before we got on air that they won 4 out of 15 years.
14 years, dude.
4 championships in 14 years. That's not a bad little streak. I mean, it's
Both girls.
It's not John
Don't
Wood.
forget the girls.
And both girls and boys. At one time, they had it 2 years in a row at
Yeah,
one point
we
in
did it
time.
twice.
Both girls and boys. in
I will say, there's one stat you're never going to find anywhere. I'm sorry to toot my UConn horn here, but UConn men and UConn women have never lost a final. 15-0 in the finals.
Wow, that is a cool set. So every time they made the final, they won it?
Yes. Now, we don't make it all the time.
Did you know that, Russ?
Never
It
lost the
doesn't
final.
surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
Never
Because
lost the
I mean,
final.
coming from the South, we always thought the Tennessee with Pat Summitt was always good. But
He was.
at some point in time, the UConn coach must have got her head coach. Then she couldn't beat him after a while.
Yeah.
She could not beat him.
Massimino?
Gino Ariema.
Ariema, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee was the top.
For a long time, and then all of a sudden, UConn coach come up, and she couldn't beat him.
Yep, that's true. I went to the Final Four in 2001, I think, when Arizona and Duke played up in Minneapolis. I was fortunate enough to work in promotion up there for 5 days. Got handed 4 tickets, which was really, really cool. So I got to sit 20th row from the court
Oh, wow.
to see the finals, and that was a really, really good basketball game, Arizona and Duke. I didn't go to this one. I did get a shirt in 2004, the last time my Yellow Jackets were in the Final Four back in 2004. Don't laugh at my Jackets.
Because you lost to UConn.
Is that who they? Oh, that's right. UConn beat the slop out of them in the semis, didn't they?
Yeah, that was Mecca Okafor and Ben Gordon. Yeah.
But UConn won that year, right? Yeah. Yeah, they beat Tech pretty bad. I remember watching that with Brett Garrison down at some sport bar down at the Prado. And, it wasn't pretty, but last time the Jackets ran. So, out of the teams that are in the ACC, who do you think's got the best shot of going to the Final Four? Got to be Duke, right?
I mean, on paper, but I think Virginia Tech's been hot. I mean, if they can keep it up, they might be able to do some damage. I think who I had in my Final Four to have. I had Virginia Tech going farther than anyone in my bracket, but
I hope getting beat in the first round.
yeah, I mean, North Carolina, that's a tough bracket. That bracket has got 4 national championship teams. You got North Carolina, you got Kentucky. I mean, that's just a killer bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really rough.
Yeah. So let me take a look at mine real quick.
Well, I will say there's 3 things. I think there's 3 things that make you win a national championship. 3 things. First of all, you got to have good guard play. Senior guards or guards that have been around. That is key. You need to have good defense too. That's also a good thing. You got to play good D. You can't win a national championship just a good hot offense, because eventually that's going to cool down. Someone's going to shut you down. And free throws. Those are the 3 things you need to win a national championship.
That's true. I want to get into that a little bit. Some of the games I watched, but ACC, like you said, North Carolina beat Coach K at his final game at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it wasn't pretty. They got hammered. So,
No.
but I think Duke's going to step up to the plate and play well in the tournament. I don't think Virginia Tech is. Who else is in there from the ACC? Not many. North Carolina.
North Carolina is 4th, I think.
North Carolina is a 4 seed.
Notre Dame's in there.
Oh, yeah, are they really? Well, they're kind of semi
good.
ACC, but that's it, isn't it?
They are an ACC, but they're not very good.
Yeah, so that's it.
I don't see the ACC going past the Sweet 16.
Other than Duke.
Duke's not going.
Well, we're going to move on to the SEC, and with that being said, let's step out for a second. We're going to let Mr. Kentucky.
And I just want to say before he comes on, I did break his heart. Murray State's going to beat Kentucky.
We'll see.
Murray State's going to beat Kentucky, and he knows it.
I don't know about knowing it, but
Yeah.
we should
Russ,
see.
Russ knows a lot nobody else knows.
There you
So
go.
he's kinda like,
He's
he
got
has
the intel.
ESPN instead of ESP. So,
Oh, there you go. How about
so
that?
Michael, welcome, buddy.
How's it going, guys?
Doing great.
Good.
Tell us about what's going on at Red Hair this week.
Oh, let's see. We've had, well, you guys missed our St. Patrick's Day party on Saturday. That was pretty fun. But we've got a handful of things coming down the pipeline. One thing that we're kind of excited about, we're having a charcuterie class here at the end of the month.
Do you know what charcuterie is?
Of course I do, I'm a cook.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
really? Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Not a full-time cook. just-
Nice. But
Nice.
so that's on the last Sunday of the month. That's a good like Sunday daytime date
The cooking
activity.
class?
Well, it's
Like
so
meats and
it's like
cheeses.
meats and cheeses. Yeah. So we partnered with Box Bites to Go is the name of the woman's company, and she'll come in here and talk about different ways to pair meats and cheeses, and like we'll have us on hand talking about how you pair those up with beers and things.
So Sunday afternoon?
Yeah. It's not every
Yeah.
Sunday, but the one so last Sunday of this month we're doing one. That's
Yeah.
exciting. And then in April coming up on the 23rd, we have our Spring Fling concert and cocktail event. So it's going to be a bartender cocktail competition. We've got a brand new spiced rum coming out in April that I'm excited about, so that'll probably play in there, and we'll have some live music and stuff going on here. So
All right, cool.
lots of fun things on the pipeline.
Yeah, well, I know you're a big UK fan. What's going on with the Cats? How far are they going to go in the dance?
Well, okay, so we've had a bit of I would call it, in Kentucky terms, we've had a rough year. But, you know, we lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament, and I wasn't super thrilled about that. But I'm still optimistic, and the reason I'm optimistic is because I'm a very firm believer in John Calipari. I'll say it right here. And I know that's a hot take opinion, but that man knows how to send people far in the tournament. So, where are the Cats going? Do you mind if I borrow your paper?
Yeah, you might want to look at Russ.
I'm
Russ
not
has
looking
got
at
it on the sheet.
Yeah, but Russ has us losing to Murray State in the second round.
He didn't have anything with the bracket, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I don't know if you know, but Dick Vitale said that Kentucky was going all the way this year. I got my thoughts on Dickie V in my own right,
But
but
I'll tell you this, I filled out 3 brackets on ESPN. One of them Kansas winning, one of them Arizona winning, and one Kentucky.
okay, well there you
So,
go.
yeah.
So you know what? As just a hopeful optimist, I think we got a chance to at least go into the Final Four, and that's where I'm going to stick it. So I'm taking Kentucky in the East. In the West, I'm probably going to say, where did it go? This is with my hot take. I think in the West that I want like some sort of upset near the Final Four. I think would be fun. So I'm going to take, I know there's still the 3 seed, but I'm going to take Texas Tech in the West.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah. In the South, where did it go? I had him over here. This is a tough call too. Okay, so I don't think folks should sleep on Tennessee. I also don't think people should sleep on Villanova, but I'm still going to probably take Arizona.
Yeah.
And then the Midwest, that would leave Auburn because they have, I think the team, well, the program itself has grown over the last few years for Auburn, and I'm excited for them for that, right? And my wife went to Auburn for veterinary school, so
Oh, there
it's
you
go
go.
Cats first, but War Eagles second.
So Bruce Pearl is coach down there,
Yeah.
right? And he used to be at Tennessee, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So he went from Tennessee to Auburn. So you got Auburn,
Yep.
Arizona, you had Texas Tech,
And Kentucky.
and Kentucky.
Yep.
All right, who's going to the final 2?
Okay, well then I'm going to leave Kentucky for optimism. Actually, you know what I would love, because it would be a really fun game for my household, is Kentucky-Auburn. That's
Yeah.
what I would like to see.
Is that possible? It
I think
isn't
so.
it?
Sure is, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to stick with you for that, Michael.
There we
And,
go. Come
yeah.
back and talk to me in a couple of weeks. We'll see if I
We'll be
put my
back
foot
in
in my
2
mouth.
weeks. Well, next week we'll see where everybody is, right?
There you go.
All right, buddy. Thanks
Cool.
for coming
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Always good to
Appreciate
talk to
y'all.
you.
Cheers.
Coming back in, and Russ, with your your picks.
I mean, I had no idea what y'all were drinking and smoking. I want some of those drugs. I really do. Kentucky
All right,
and Auburn? Are you kidding me?
So we have talked about the ACC. Let's move on to the SEC and talk a little bit about the SEC and the teams that are in. They got a lot of teams in, right? They got Kentucky, they got Auburn, they
Tennessee.
got Tennessee. Tennessee plays a good brand of defense. They played some good defense. It was at Texas A&M or Texas A&M. They beat in the semifinals, right? Kentucky in the finals. Is that right? This weekend?
Yeah, they beat Texas A&M to win the SEC.
No, the
But
finals was Texas A&M.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So they
Texas
beat
A&M,
Kentucky
yeah.
in the semifinals, right?
yeah,
And they held Kentucky to a season low, if
They
you want to
did.
remember. And I think they did the same thing to Texas A&M.
They did.
So they're a pretty good basketball team. I don't even know who coaches Tennessee now. It's Rick Barnes.
Barnes,
Rick
yeah,
He used to
Barnes.
coach at Texas.
Yeah.
Texas and Providence.
Before
Yeah.
Providence, before Texas.
Yeah.
So.
They never won.
But I mean, with Tennessee, I mean, the thing about Tennessee is which team is going to show up for them? Is it going to be the earlier Tennessee where they should have won more, but they always seem to get to that fourth quarter, kind of like their football team? You know, they would do good in the first half and then stink it up in the second half. So you got to wonder.
Except when they hit that bomb to beat Georgia.
That is
a couple of
true.
years
That
ago.
is true. That's been so long ago. And by the way, Georgia still in that championship football. Anyway, but that's the thing you got to worry. Tennessee fans, that's the thing you got to worry about for Tennessee is which of the teams show up. Is it earlier Tennessee or is it later Tennessee? If it's later Tennessee, they have a shot. They have a shot at a Final Four. They really do. They would play. They would play. They would end up playing Arizona to get in there, but it depends on what it is. You know, the thing about it is Rick Barnes has been known to blow it in the end. He has been. He did it at Texas. He did it at Texas, and he did it at Providence. They would have it, and then they just wouldn't show up for a game. So, folks, to me, Tennessee is probably your only hope in the SEC.
I got them in Final Eight.
Is it? But like I say, you got to understand what Tennessee team shows up. If Tennessee of late, where they played and won the SEC, shows up, they'll win.
But
They
isn't
are a
that the
good
same
team.
thing with every team?
Oh, absolutely.
Like Kansas had some star players hurt at the
Absolutely.
first of the year, but everybody's back now. in
Yep.
Kansas. And we'll move on to that's the Big 12, right? We'll move on to that in a minute. But let's finish talking about how good is Auburn. I mean, I know that who beat them in the? Was it Texas A&M? Did beat them in the
Yeah,
semifinal?
sure did.
Yeah.
Bad. I mean, pretty handily. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about Murray State, Murray State lost at Auburn this year.
Yep.
That's really the only big loss that
Yep.
Murray State had. And they only lost by 13.
Yep.
They were only down by like 4 with 5
Yep.
minutes to go. So Murray State's a good ball team on the road and at home.
That's why I got them beating Kentucky.
Well,
and
we'll see.
I won't be, and mark this down.
Right.
Murray State coach will get a big coaching job after he wins.
They could lose in the first round and he's going
Oh, absolutely, he should.
He's moving on.
He really
That's-
should.
Sadly, that's what happens is these mid programs. They do a great job and they
Yep.
get moved up and they get stuck
Yep.
with another coach that's
Yep.
going to come in and hopefully move up to the next level. But that's the way college basketball is. Really, any college sport, period. So I hate to see that. So we've decided that Tennessee is going to go further than any other SEC team.
I think so. I really
You
do.
all right?
I would lean with Auburn.
Towards Auburn going a little
A little bit far, close. Maybe a Final Four versus Final Eight, maybe something like that.
Who was Auburn? Oh, I've got them. Yeah, I've got them losing to Wisconsin in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I've got them beating Wisconsin in one and then losing, or beating Kansas and losing to Wisconsin in the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got them going to Final Four.
I got him losing to USC.
Yeah, I don't pick back. West Coast teams, you got Gonzaga and Arizona. Other than that,
There's not much.
No one else does anything.
Yeah, there's not
I think. But that surprised you every couple of years.
Yeah.
You never know. It could be
Okay.
big.
So in the ACC, we have we think Duke's going to go further than anybody else, except for Russ. He thinks UNC is going further, right?
I really don't think UNC is going further. I'm
But
picking
out of
Virginia
out
Tech.
of those three, Virginia
Yeah,
Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you need
say
to stop
Virginia
drinking
Tech.
whatever you're drinking. Virginia Tech is done after the first game. Keith, who you think?
I
Virginia
think
Tech's going
Virginia Tech.
further?
I think Virginia
All right,
Tech.
I'll be the oddball out here, which I always am. But, next Wednesday, we'll see where everybody is. Because they'll be down to the Final Four by next Wednesday.
No,
The 16th.
Sweet 16.
But I'll be honest with you though, for those of us that have really watched good ACC basketball, it would be a really good sentimental pick to pick Duke
Yeah.
to go as far as they were, and maybe he win it in his last coaching with Duke because he's been there such a long time and he's won so much. And I mean, it would be a great story, but unfortunately, they won't get past Davidson. But that's okay.
I have always been a fan of ACC basketball, except Dean Smith. And Keith told me something earlier. He only won 2 national championships, which blew me away. But I hated stall ball. The best thing that ever happened to college basketball is the shot clock. I think when they added the shot clock, it added so much more to the game.
Yes.
I just hated
Got 4 corners.
20 to 18 games where people standing just throwing the ball around when they got the lead. It was just no fun with the 4 corners. So we've got the ACC and we've got the SEC covered. Let's talk now about the Big 12. And obviously Kansas is my team because they're in the Big 12. But there's some good ball clubs in the Big 12. Baylor was last year's champions. Texas Tech's a good club. Russ loves the Longhorns.
They're not really. They're not getting past the Kansas.
Texas Tech has surprised the last few years. They've been a solid team, but usually the Big 12 is Kansas. That's all it ever was for years.
Yeah.
And Baylor
Yeah.
stepped up to the plate finally, and
Yeah.
you know, Texas Tech I think is solid too.
Well, what other teams are in there from the Big 12?
Ohio, Iowa State's in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're not Big 10.
They're not bad. They're not bad.
Is there anybody else? Iowa State. Let's see.
Yeah, Texas.
I think that Texas.
Kansas, Iowa
I don't think
State,
in the South is
TCU.
anybody.
Well, no, TCU's not.
TCU?
Oh, they-
Yeah, I don't think
they're
that-
Big 12.
Big 12 team.
Are they Big 12?
Yeah, I think they are. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
they're
they
not
are.
going anywhere though.
They're not either.
Research,
Yeah.
Larry, can you find out if TCU's in the Big 12?
Yeah, I think
for us?
they are.
They're losing.
They are.
They're
They're not
losing.
gonna far.
Larry's like our big bear on game day.
Yeah, they're losing
He
to
does
Seton
those
Hall.
research
So,
work. But okay, so like I said, I got Kansas in the Big 12. Russ, who you got?
you know,
Going
Chuck,
further in the Big 12.
in the Big 12, yeah, I'd probably have to say Kansas. They always have. I mean, that's just, you know, I've never seen, you know, it's funny to me their football team stinks to high
Well,
heaven,
worse.
but their basketball
Well, they
team
got
is
better
really
this year.
good.
They won a couple
The
of
thing
games
about
this year,
Kansas is the Kansas is they've won so many Big 12 championships, but in all that they've won
Yeah.
3 national championships.
Yep.
3.
Yeah.
That's not a lot for all
Yeah,
the
they've
years
had
they
a lot
get
of
there.
talent come through that school.
They've had
You're
a lot
right.
of talent.
You're right.
I mean,
It's,
they've slightly underperformed. Not as bad as Syracuse.
I
but
mean,
slightly.
you know, I like Baylor. I mean, Baylor's good. I mean, sometimes when you don't, you know, but it's like we said before the show, it's hard to repeat. I mean, to me, they could go to the Final Four, but you know, Kansas. I mean, you know, like I say, they just got that. You know, that's all you hear about out of the Big 12.
Riley, is that his name? Something Riley came back recently, and they just looked really good Saturday playing in the game. I thought they looked pretty good Saturday. So you got Kansas going far too?
I got them
As
going.
far as anybody else in the Big 12?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so we're all pretty much consensus that Kansas is going to be the #1 team out of the Big 12.
I just don't have the Big 12 going too far to begin with, though.
Well, there you go. So, Russ, why don't you be our sponsor this week and tell us a little bit about your business?
Wow.
Since you don't know anything about college basketball.
I don't know anything about college basketball. Anyway, but yeah, I do financial planning and just help people. And you know, with the way it is, we just had the rate go up 25 basis points. So, you know, it's really just having hard, good, solid conversations about where you're going to put your money, what you're going to do. But my thing is, you know, you've got to have a plan going into retirement. You've got to have a plan. And then I've been really talking to people about, you know, also when you're in retirement, knowing what you want your retirement to look like. Instead of being like Brady, who 3 weeks into retirement decides he wants to come back home, my thing is, you know, understand when you think about retirement, think about what you want your retirement to look like. Take your work out of it, and who are your friends, and what do you do outside your work? Because that's going to be the key in retirement. And it's just trying to help people, you know, figure all that out.
Well, thanks for doing that, and I know what you should do during your retirement. Pay more attention to sports.
Well, Chuck, you know, the basketball, I used to watch a lot of college basketball. I've really done a lot more college football.
Yeah.
But I do like I played basketball my entire career till my knees and my ankles started hurting and I gave it up. But I do like basketball. My favorite coach is Rick Pitino, and he's not in this. So
Yeah, where's he coaching now?
Iona.
Iona, that's
And
right.
they're in the NIT. I thought they would make it into the Big Dance, and they did not.
Well,
so
let's move on to the other, what I think anyway, is the best conference this year, and that's the Big Ten. There's so many good teams in the Big Ten. I thought Indiana was a shoo-in after watching them play this weekend. They played pretty good against Iowa until that O'Bannon or O'Haron, whatever the name is, came in and hit 3 threes in the last couple of minutes to beat Indiana. So it was a great, great game. And I'm in love with this guy from Purdue, the 7'6" guy that picks up every rebound that he's within. If he was a little is that his name? Edie. If he was a little more athletic, and I don't know how athletic you can be at 7'6". I think they would have a lot better chance in this tournament. But they've got some good ball players as well. But Iowa's good. Wisconsin's good.
Illinois.
They're decent. I think I've got them going out in the first round.
I mean, I think they're gonna do well.
Yeah.
But they just don't win the national championships, unfortunately.
So Purdue?
No, the Big Ten.
Oh, the Big Ten. In general?
In general.
Yeah.
They just don't win. Unfortunately, they have a lot of good talent. They just seem to not win the big games when they need to. Michigan was good for a few years there, and they looked decent this year until Juwan Howard had a meltdown. And I don't know. I think they're going to win their first game. They're 11th seed. They got a low seed. They probably pull an upset off in the first round. So they're playing. No, Michigan plays as 11th.
Colorado State.
I think they're playing.
I heard some stuff in Michigan's got a chance to win this tournament.
Oh no.
Yeah. I read something on Fox Sports, I think, that they said that.
well, hopefully they won't have anybody call timeout when they have no timeout.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
may help a whole lot.
That might help, yeah. So, obviously, I think
Purdue's maybe go the farthest.
I've got Purdue in my Final Four. So, they're a good ball club. I don't know who else they're going to run against. Let's see who I've got them beating to get there.
They're beating Baylor to get to the Final Four.
I got them beating Baylor to get to the Final Four, yeah. Yeah, I do. And Baylor's a good ball club, but I think
I got them beating Gonzaga to get to the finals in one of the brackets.
you got Purdue beating Gonzaga?
Get to the finals to lose to Arizona.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. For us, how about
I'm
you?
going to totally disagree with you. Purdue's not
No.
going to get by Virginia Tech. Indiana.
Wait,
Hey,
I gotta
write that down. Right, I want everybody to write this down. Purdue is getting beat by Virginia Tech. Indiana. Let me tell you how good Indiana is. Indiana.
Who's the other one you had? Davidson over Duke?
Davidson over Duke. Yep. And Murray State over Kentucky.
Too much fun here at Red Hair.
And Murray State over Kentucky.
Yeah.
But anyway, Indiana is fixing to lose to St. Mary's, some school that we don't even really know about, nor in the South do we care about. But anyway, they're going to lose to St. Mary's. So Indiana, and that gives Indiana and Purdue is gone. Michigan's losing to Colorado State. I hate to tell the Michigan people, the Amazing Blue. They lost to Georgia in football. They're fixing to lose to Colorado State Rams in basketball. So,
All right.
but yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the Big Ten.
Well, who do you think's going furthest?
You're killing me.
Thank
That's a great question. I don't really know. I think they're going to be gone after this.
So you don't think anybody in
I don't
the
really
Big
think-
Ten's going to make it to the Final Four?
Well, Wisconsin.
Much
I
less-
forgot about Wisconsin. I did say Wisconsin. They're going. If I had to pick, I would
They're
say they were
three seed,
going.
right, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I would. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Wisconsin, the Badgers will go to the Final Four. They will. They may not win it, but they'll go.
They
That's
have
my
been the
team.
most consistent team in the Big Ten to
For
go
years.
deep in the
Yeah.
last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And that is true. And they are good basketball. That's
Solid.
just
They have a good program.
But yeah, I forgot about Wisconsin. Yeah, they're in my Final Four.
Okay, so out of all the others that aren't in these big four conferences that we've talked about, the other big five conferences is just the Pac-12, and nobody's coming out of the Pac-12, right? UCLA's the highest seed.
Arizona's
That's
got a
right,
chance.
the
I've
Pac-12.
got them winning in the bracket. They've got a chance, but they've always underperformed. They won one national championship in all the years they've been there. But, you know, they've done it once, so there's always a chance.
But they do struggle. They do
Wood
struggle in the
Russians-
tournament.
No, he's retired.
Yeah, they win, but they struggle in the tournament. They struggle mightily,
They have
but
good players.
and they struggle. And I can't figure it out. They could have the best team, but man, they're barely beating bad teams.
But we can all agree that Arizona's the only one out of the Pac-12 that's going to do anything, right?
Probably so.
I don't
yeah.
know. UCLA did well last year, and they could back it up. I
Okay.
don't know. I haven't watched enough of them play.
I've got UCLA winning a couple of games.
Yeah, they could do some damage. They would look pretty
I've
good
got
last
them
year.
beating Akron, and I've got them beating St. Mary's. So,
Yeah, I mean, you know, and UCLA's got that. I mean, it's been a while. They've had good teams, but UCLA. I mean, UCLA used to always be there. But
you got St. Mary's winning. What's their school mascot?
that's a good question. I don't even know.
You know?
That's a great
Gales.
question.
St. Mary's Gales. Yeah.
Isn't that like a wind?
Yeah. And it's also a bird.
Yeah,
It's a-
but-
so we may talk about school nicknames later if we have time.
But, yeah.
So we got Arizona. We've got difference of opinions in the Big Ten. We got Purdue, but everybody else that's not in the Big Five Power Conference, Gonzaga's the cream of the crop. Is that right?
Well, if you got to put the Big East if you're not using power conference too. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
You got. I mean, I love my UConn Huskies, but I don't know if they're going to get that far this year.
How far you got them going, Keith?
I got them going to Sweet 16, maybe. That's about it.
Okay.
They're going to lose to Gonzaga. I'd like to see them knock them off, but I just don't know what's going to happen.
Okay. So who's the lowest seed that you've got going the furthest? And I'll start with mine. Mine is the Moccasins out of UTC, out of Chattanooga. I think they're going to go to. I think them and UAB are both going to win their first round games, and I think that Chattanooga will beat UAB to go to the Sweet 16.
Well, Chuck, I came from Dalton, so I wasn't too far from Chattanooga. Matter of fact, before my dad moved here for a job in Atlanta, I was going to go to UTC.
Yeah.
And they have always had a very good basketball team. One of my wife's former high school alumni at University High in East Tennessee coached there, Johnny Schulman. Coached at UTC, and they did very good. And they've always had a good team. Dominic Wilkins' brother went there.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of good players. And I would have to say of the lowest seed, I'm pulling for the Mocs. Gotta get close to hometown. So I like
You
that.
got St. Mary's win a couple of games, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Watch out for Loyola, too.
Loyola.
They've
that's
been
a
there a
good
couple
pick.
times.
They beat my Jackets last year. Of course, Georgia Tech lost their star player to COVID and didn't get to play in the first round game last year, which I think hurt them. They played well, but just not enough. So you say Loyola, you think they're going to make the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Is anybody 12 seed or lower going to make to the Final Four or even the Elite Eight? This is one,
Not much.
everybody only wants to put all four.
Somebody will make it. Somebody
Yeah.
will make the final. Sweet 16 definitely a double seeded or a double digit, but Final 8 maybe one, but it's hard to pick it. I mean, it could come out of the blue. You know,
Always.
somebody no one is
You
on
never
the
know
think
who's
of.
going to win. That's the great thing about college sports, much less basketball. Yeah.
I think mine stayed at 7 is going to go pretty far.
Yeah,
After
seven's
Seven's supposed to go to
spanked
Sweet 16. Not supposed to go much farther though.
Yeah, they were like 12th in the country, aren't they, this
Yeah.
year? But I was shocked by their seed, but I talked to Steve and he said, no, that's about right where they need to be.
Yeah.
Steve Pearson, he's a Murray State grad, and he said that's about where they need to be. And that's why he won't be calling in a few minutes. We'll be having Greg Potts calling in his place. We'll have Potts points instead of Pearson's points. Greg's a big Kentucky fan, so we'll see what he has to say when he calls in about 5 minutes. But yeah, so I think, tell me your Final Four, Russ, and we'll talk about our Final Fours.
I got Wisconsin for sure. I mean, I know you're probably going to laugh at me, but
I do that all the time.
you know, I hate to do this. My family is going to really love me for this. I may get back in the good graces of my family, but I'm going to say Tennessee.
Will you write these down? So you can't back. Well, I've got it on tape.
Yeah, Tennessee, Wisconsin.
Tennessee.
and I'm going to go with Baylor and Gonzaga. Even though I said I was, had Kansas, I'm going to go.
So that's two
with
number
Baylor.
ones.
Yep.
All right.
And a 3 seed and a what's Wisconsin?
They're
They have
three.
two. They're three. So 2 3s and 2 1s.
All right. And your finals will be
Wisconsin and Gonzaga.
and you've got Gonzaga winning.
I think, I think Gonzaga's gonna finally. Duke's not in it. North Carolina's not in it, so they're not.
So
gonna,
you say?
not the stress level's gonna be there. Gonzaga's gonna finally pull it off, and then they're gonna stink for the rest of the time after
All right,
that.
Keith.
So.
Let me hear your final four.
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga,
I got 2 brackets, but I'm going to go with my first picks. Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech in the final
Virginia
four.
Tech.
Have you been smoking Rusty's stuff? Okay.
Tennessee
Tennessee,
and Wisconsin.
Tennessee, and Wisconsin.
And I got Wisconsin losing to Georgia, Gonzaga in the finals.
Wisconsin. That's what Russ had, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, Gonzaga beating over Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
That was my first bracket I picked.
Okay, my first bracket, and I don't have any of the 4 teams that you guys have in the final
Yeah, you got
four.
Gonzaga.
No, I don't. I've got Arizona, Duke, Kansas, and Purdue.
Okay.
And I've got Kansas beating Purdue in the national championship by the score of 74-71. You have to put that in there for your tiebreaker. So you guys are a lot alike in terms of your final 4 picks. I am not. The real reason, the number 1 reason I picked Kansas is because in 1985 I picked Kansas to win the national championship, and they did. And now every year they're near the top, I pick Kansas because I feel like I got a shot. And I think they're a good ball club, and we'll figure out more over the next couple of days. So, or the next couple of days. So they'll play the first 2 rounds tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we'll be down to the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then next week we'll do it again. So next week we won't talk all college basketball, but we will talk a little bit about college basketball, at least the final 16. And maybe we can redraft from there, Rusty, since all 4 years will be gone by that time. I like to give Russ a hard time. But that's kind of what we're doing. Don't forget, you can text in to 470-787-6787 with your picks, not for the Final Four, but for the championship. And if you get your pick in before tomorrow at noon, you'll qualify for a $25 gift card right here at Red Hair. You don't have to come to the brewery. You can use it up at the restaurant on the square too. You guys can send in your picks too. So you can waste your time too, Russ. So go ahead and send that in for your championship pick. So we'll wait for Greg to talk, and let's talk a little bit about college nicknames. Yeah. Tell me who on this nickname, who on this list you don't know their mascot, and let's see if we can pick them out. While we wait on Greg to call. Greg, you can call it anytime you want.
One of the smaller schools, I don't know. South Dakota, isn't it like Jackrabbits or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Jackrabbits, South Dakota State. Yeah.
I like that.
You got San Francisco. I could almost think of what their mascot is, but I won't say that on radio.
Well, I used to know San Francisco. it's
That I had no idea.
Bay City Rollers, I don't know. Larry, check that out for University of San Francisco. What's their
That's right. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either.
Yeah.
You don't hear them in many sports.
No, they used to have a pretty good basketball program a long time ago.
Remember what team we played for?
Yeah, when Wilt was there. Yeah.
But after that, yeah.
After that, they're not much. I know most of them, I think. I don't know San Francisco. No, there's probably some others I don't know. Davidson Dukes, is that right? Davidson Dukes?
No, I think
Bulldogs?
it's some type of cat, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think you're right. Yeah, I
Some
think
type
it
of
is.
cat
Right.
or
Yeah.
cougars or
Oh,
something.
here comes Greg. Greg, lend some sense to this nonsense.
You want me to answer your nonsense?
Yeah, so
You're talking Purdue in the Final Four. I think that's not nonsense.
all right. Greg, give us your take on all this stuff.
I don't know, man.
They looked good against Purdue. That was a fun basketball game to watch. 80-77, wasn't it? It was a close game.
Yeah, you got physical and it's really showing up these days. And it's the Murray brothers they have.
Yeah.
I just think that I in my bracket, I have wavered on having them in the Final Four. But defensively, if you look at their whole season, defensively they have not been strong. And historically, that's something that kills you in the tournament.
Yeah.
But I was really torn on Iowa. You guys talked about Tennessee, and I live in Lexington, Kentucky, so I've become an adopted UK fan. In Tennessee, if they play the way that they have played down the end of the year, they have a really good shot at going far. But at the same time, they have also had some real stinkers of games during the year as well.
Yes, they have.
They beat Kentucky in the SEC tournament. The previous two games, UK won by 30 and Tennessee won by 40.
Yeah.
So it's, but I do like Tennessee. I need to say that. They're a legitimate threat in this tournament. The only team that I like is the first the play-in game is I really like Rutgers. Throughout the course of the year, they played well instead of being a Final Four team. But I can certainly see them winning a couple of games and making it into the Sweet 16.
Greg, are they already in? Did they win their play today? Oh, they played today.
They played tonight against Notre Dame.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ron Harper. They just, again, I think that they're when I look at the lower seeds, they're one that I have going to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
He has been smoking something.
As far as other lower seeds, Virginia Tech. I have been beating Purdue, which, again, I don't have a lot of faith in Purdue, so that was kind of an easy pick for me. At the other side of the bracket, that one got a little tougher. With that Wisconsin offer, I have Wisconsin and Auburn in the Sweet 16. Auburn playing really well this year. I do have them edging out Wisconsin, but that's a game I'm really looking forward to seeing. That one can honestly go either way.
I think that's one we're all in agreement on, Wisconsin and Auburn in the Sweet 16. Yeah.
And then the top of that bracket, you got New Kansas and Iowa, and again, I'm really struggling with Iowa, where I want to believe in them a bit defensively, but at the same time, Kansas has had some games where their offense didn't show up, so those two things can balance themselves out. I've got here's where it is for me. My Final Four is I do have Kentucky going to the Final Four. I think you look at all the questions. There are just and you got your role players with Vince and with Brady. I think that he has built a team enough experience that they can make a long run at this thing. And I think he's still talking about Coach Calipari. He believes that in 2020, that team that they have, and when you look across the NBA right now, and he's got, I think, 6 players from that team from 2020 that are in the NBA today. And I think that he's still starting from 2020 to turn the league canceled. So I believe these guys are ready to play. I think she play gives every team trouble. He is one of the best big men I have seen in a long, long time. And he's a rebounding. He's a Dennis Rodman rebounding machine.
He's a little bit more athletic than Edie at Purdue.
Yes. So my Final Four, I have Kentucky, and on the other side, I actually have Houston playing Auburn.
Wow.
Houston's missing a couple of players because they had the Texas Tech transfer who stepped up.
Yeah.
They also have
That's
This is not a Homer thing.
Yeah.
Part of it is just, obviously I see a lot of these games, so I'm familiar with it, but I look at the Kentucky's team and their positions, and the players to make a long run, and then you look at their bench, when they needed to
They're
have
pretty deep.
guys,
Yeah.
you need guys 7 and 8 out to score points. They got those guys. So I've got Kentucky winning against over Houston.
Well,
That's probably not going to be in a lot of rankings, but
no, but you got a shot with Kentucky. I filled out 3 brackets, and I've got Kentucky winning one of them. I think I've got Kansas in one, Arizona in one, and Kentucky in one. But so I think they're a good ball club. There are other deeper teams, but probably not deeper teams with as much talent. So.
I look at that as far as their starting 5 do have some experience on their belts. I mean, Shea Whitney's in West Virginia, you've got the grad transfer, so you do have quite a bit of experience on that team, which I think Kentucky has lacked for many, many years. So we'll see if that pays off for Calipari.
All right. Well, I got 2 questions before we let you go. What do you think about these guys thinking Murray State's going to beat Kentucky?
I don't think Murray State's going to be listen, anything can happen in this tournament. We've all seen it. I don't see Calipari not having that team to the point of, I believe the SEC tournament, and that was not important. They would have but he is still prepping for the last one. I don't see him losing to Murray State.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you on that one. And the last question is, do you have your Buckeyes losing to Loyola the first round?
I don't. We have our Loyola a couple years ago. I'm a Missouri Valley guy. This is Loyola's last year in the Valley.
Yeah.
I actually have seen Loyola play several times this year. I've seen them play both games against Bradley, then a couple games in the tournament. I just don't think they don't have the athleticism to keep up with Ohio State.
We'll find out. You're a Bradley Bear, right? Isn't that where you went to school? Greg, that's right. Yeah, Bradley Greg. Yeah. All right. Well, we've written down your picks here, Greg, and we're going to follow up with you next week and see how you do. Appreciate you calling in, buddy. Have a great day. So what do we have to say about Greg? I know what you got to say.
He has lost his mind. He has lost his mind. I mean, John people try to make him be a good coach. He's one of those coaches that, he'll go as far, and all of a sudden he plays that one game, and he just blows it. I mean, I'm sorry, Calipari's not as good a coach as people think he is. Now, I'll be honest with you, he's a good recruiter, but he's not a good coach. So that's going to be his problem is he's going to be, I'm looking up in the SEC. They beat Tennessee the first game. Tennessee beat them the second time they played them, and then beat them in the tournament to play Texas A&M. So don't tell me that's exactly how Calipari is. He'll win games he probably shouldn't, but he'll lose games he should win. That's why he's losing to Murray State.
Okay. That's Russ's final point of the day. Murray State over Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Keith, what's you're most certain about going into the tournament?
Well, I will say the reason Kentucky can go far is because UConn's not in their bracket. Because when we play Kentucky, we beat Kentucky. Okay, that's the only thing they got in their favor.
It's true.
But I say the same thing. Calipari reminds me of Boeheim. He just doesn't win big games a lot of times.
Yep.
I mean, if UConn had half as many McDonald's All-Americans as Kentucky, we'd have 10 national championships.
Yeah, absolutely. You would.
I mean,
that's true.
he has the talent. He just can never get it done. But having said that, they got the talent. Just see if they can put it together.
So there you go. So that's what we're talking about here, guys, is March Madness. Again, you have until noon tomorrow. This is the first tip-off, right? So if you've got until noon tomorrow to text to 470-777-6787 who you think is going to win the National Basketball Championship. for college. And if you pick the winning team, you will go into a lottery for a $25 gift card here at Red Hair Brewery or the Red Hair Restaurant up on the square. My favorite fact I've learned today is from Keith about UConn. When they make a final game, they win 15-0. I think that's a pretty impressive stat. But I want to thank you guys for coming in today. Russ, I got you written down. We're going to check everybody out next week, and next Wednesday we'll let you know where we win. Guys, don't forget to know your numbers, cover your ass, get your prostate checked. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
That's fun.
It's been awesome, man.
Yeah, I got y'all written down. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say the Dons or the nickname of it.
That's a weird nickname.
Yeah.